Why are young women so insecure? I'm making this video not to bash women, but to honor them through my observations of young women as a young guy. And this is going to be a raw video. I won't really make any editing except for the moments where I pause for too long. So if your attention span can't handle this, then see you later. I want to dedicate this video to the marvel of the human experience that is sexual attraction between men and women. It's just such a fascinating phenomenon, I think, because it's like, why are we so attracted to each other, right? It's like, it's not rational, it's primal, it's subconscious, it's divine, you know? And a lot of people, when they think of sexuality, they think of it as dirty. They think of it as impure. But what I'm going to start, as you'll see in this video, what I'm going to suggest is that sexuality is the force of life. It is divinity. It is one of the highest forms of spiritual practice and bliss when practiced consciously and intentionally. Now, the reason I opened up with the title, Why Are Young Women So Insecure? It's a behavior pattern that I notice in young women. And I'm going to, if this video gets any traction, and I'll do a video on why young men are insecure as well, because obviously there's two sides of this coin. But I notice this in young women and older women as they mature and they find their self-worth. It stops really, they grow out of it, right? But, in young women, and especially the most beautiful ones, they're often the most insecure, and it's like, why? Why is that? And the answer that I've come to, and I'm going to kind of read off some notes here to help me guide through this raw discussion, is this. Because they think they have to be beautiful for the world, or else they won't be loved, or else they won't be desired, right? And all of us, men and women, we want the same thing, and that's love. We want to be cherished, we want to be loved, we want to be admired, we want to be appreciated, right? And this is especially true for women because women are much more emotionally in tune than men are. Right? So men think the way that they gain love is have a lot of money, build huge muscles, be very successful, high status, confident, 6 feet tall, right? All of these markers that make a man attractive. On the flip side, young women believe that if they're not beautiful enough, if they don't show up with enough sexual appeal, if they're not sexually desirable enough, then they won't be loved, they won't be desired, right? But this can become a kink, right? A block, because beauty becomes despair. And I noticed this, I observed this in a lot of young women, especially at my gym, right? Beauty becomes despair. What do I mean? In a young woman, is this deep, deep yearning, this desire to be seen, to be noticed. And, not just by any one or any man, but by a man who radiates a kind of depth and confidence and masculinity, right? And stillness that sees them beyond the surface of how they try to present themselves to the world, right? It's the masculine, orderly energy in the midst of the feminine chaos. Because women, in their feminine essence, in their pure energetic essence, is chaotic. They are the free, unbounded flow of energy, And that can, a lot of the times, they have to contain that. They have to contain that and they have to keep it together, right? They have to keep composure in the world. Because to unleash all of that energy is too vulnerable, right? What they really want is a safe place to finally let go into that divine feminine energy. And women yearn for that. But younger women who have maybe been hurt, right, through a lot of, immature relationships, right, bad experiences with men, they've been hurt by opening their heart and to reveal themselves. And so they put on this guard. They put on this guard in order to defend themselves, right, from threat. And here's what I will say, right? It's like women have this, because women are deeply emotional, they're deeply intuitive, and that's how they make their choosing signals towards men, because it's like, it's not a conscious thing, it's not a rational thing, right? Whereas men operate on such a rational, logical level. Women are the opposite, right? That's why the running joke is like, oh, women are so fucking emotional. You can never understand her. But because they're deeply intuitive, it's like their body, their nervous system. It's primal, it's automatic, it's subconscious. They can sense when there's safety and they can sense when there's danger. And rightly so, right? Especially around the presence of a man, right? It's like they can sense the energy of a creep immediately, right? And well, if for a guy who's like sexually neutral and just like, nah, then probably won't sense him at all. But on the contrary, to a man who is a creep and makes her feel unsafe, right? The kind of guy who's like lustrous, desire-y, wants to take something from her, right? She feels defensive from that. On the other hand, there are men, and I would say it seems pretty rare nowadays. I don't know if I observe many men who carry this energy. And well, it's like the standard is low actually, it's come on guys. There's nothing more irresistible to a woman than a deeply grounded and present man who's sure of himself. And I mean like truly sure of himself. What do I mean by that, right? You hear about, women find confident men attractive. But what men get wrong about this holy word of confidence is they think they try to perform for the world to try to gain validation and approval. Now, men and women are both doing this, right? These women who feel insecure or unsafe inside, they perform for men, they perform for the world by trying to appear sexy, by playing games, right? The push and the pull, the hot and the cold. It's like, oh, is she giving me signs or is she not giving me signs, And that's all to protect themselves. On the other hand, what I'm talking about this performative confidence, which is the fake confidence that is often mistaken for, that men mistake for how to develop real confidence. This kind of performance is like, being overly loud, being overly aggressive, trying to impress women, right? Trying to flaunt, trying to flex, right? There's this certain energy about it that, it's ironic because it's like a notice me kind of energy. It's like a needy energy. It's like, I need to prove that I am confident to you. I need to prove that I'm this way to you. So that's what I mean by performative. But what real confidence is ironically the opposite of that in many ways. It's not needing to prove anything. It's internal stillness within chaos, not reacting to the world, but responding to it. And when a man carries that type of energy, he is literally the embodiment of an overflowing cup, right? His energy is so abundant. It's so non-leaking that he's overflowing. I know that was contradictory, but you get the point that I'm trying to make. I think where the insecurity comes in both men and women. Women who feel insecure, who don't feel fully safe to, let's say, let go into that yearning. They play games. They test, right? But these games are not something that you should judge. They are simply tests. They're basically her asking the question, are you safe to be around? Are you going to be reactive, or can you be still and not flinch? Are you emotionally stable, or are you volatile? Right? And if you're volatile, if you're reactive, if you're impulsive, then that immediately shows. And that triggers her flight response, right? It repels her because it subconsciously signals to her, this guy's not safe. Sexual polarity is a dance. And when you're not swept up by the games, then you can hold that space for what it truly is. And it is that deep, deep human desire to be met in love, to be held, right? I'm not just talking physically, but emotionally and spiritually. It's a very spiritual thing. And so genuine sexual attraction is effortless. You don't have to think about it. It's primal. It's beyond ego. But we are so afraid of it, right? We're afraid of falling in love. Because what does falling in love mean? It means our ego shatters. It means we don't have any more masks to carry on. We have no more of this protection. And young women carry around that mask in order to protect themselves. And rightly so, because they need to be able to discern from safety versus danger. The ego wants to perform. The ego wants to hide the real person underneath. The ego wants to defend it, protect it. But when she feels safe enough to let go, then that mask drops. And her true self, her true femininity, her spirit, her soul, who she really is, all of her, starts to come out. And she wants to make sure that before she does that you, as a man, are safe enough to surrender that into, right? Because once she lets that go, then she's naked. Again, I'm saying not just physically, but spiritually, emotionally, because her heart is now open. And so it requires a huge amount of trust and safety. So when I see these young, beautiful women playing games, being insecure, trying to get attention, trying to play it cool, act cold. You know it's just a game. Don't get swept up in the game. Stay grounded in yourself. Be that container, that safe place. Right? And you can only be that safe place as a man when you've confronted your own shadows and have done your own work internally. That when she starts to reveal her shadows, her insecurities, her chaos, you won't flinch in the midst of it. And that's when she will start to fall for you. What I've discussed here is really the secrets of love and of sexual attraction. And if you actually truly understand this and actually embody this, then, I mean, you will have nothing but the most divine kind of relationship that you'll attract into your life. But it is because men and women don't understand how each other work. I think that's what causes so much of conflict and pain in relationships. I really just wanted to make this video because it's such a fascinating topic to me. And as someone who considers himself very observant and is fascinated with human psychology and behavior, and always wondering, why do so many people, why are relationships so hard for so many people? And I think through this raw unfolding of trying to explore truth in real time, hopefully this channel and I can speak some assurance into people's lives, not only about sexuality and dating, but the thing, I'm way too passionate about too many things. So this channel is going to be a little bit all over the place. If this resonated with you, subscribe to my channel, like the video. If you vibe with this kind of stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.